Coach Bob with you today, and today, man, we got a great video for you. It's going to be one on a ride, and we're going to be talking about how motorcycle riding has changed my life. I guarantee you it can change yours. So Pearson and I are over here at a friend of mine's house feeding his dogs while he's on a little mini vacation for a celebration of his anniversary. So Mr. and Miss Ken, you know who I'm talking to. Happy anniversary. I hope y'all are having a great time. It's a beautiful morning. It's a great day for a ride. Part of the video has been shot already, and you'll be getting the ride as I'm coming over here, and then Pearson and I will be heading to the house. But we are about to go back in. The dogs have been let out, gone to the bathroom, given water, been fed. Life is good. All right, so let's go for a ride.
So you ready to go for a ride, Pearson? All right, let's go. Come on, go ahead. There's Pearson's got a camera on. She's on a dock that moves. She's not used to that.
Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today, man, have I got a great video for you, man, something that you need to hear. But before we get going, if you would do me a favor, give the video a big old fat thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. We're almost to 15,000 subscribers, and that is just going to be fantastic. All right, so what are we going to be talking about today? What's it going to be about? Well, you know, I got into a conversation with a friend of mine about motorcycling, and you know, he spoke only about the risk, you know, falling, getting hurt, broken bones, death, all that sort of stuff. You know, the things that you know, a lot of times you go out and you'll be told, you know, oh man, yeah, I rode a motorcycle for years, but this happened and my family doesn't want me to ride anymore, and so I got out of it, and I decided I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not putting those people down. I want you to know that before we even get going in this. But if you're one of those people who are on the fence and you're like, is there anything good about it? You know, I've been told so many bad things about accidents and about how, you know, cars are always out to get you, and people are so crazy on the road nowadays. Is there anything good about it? Not just for the radical people, the folks that, you know, are on the fringe or doing this or doing that, or a sport bike rider that's really into racing, or whatever the case may be. Just for us everyday schmoes, you know. I'm just your average guy. I'm nobody special. I'm nothing that fanciful or anything like that. I'm just a guy who likes to ride, and I don't care what it is. If it's got wheels on it, I love to drive it and ride it. An old Chevy Nova, it could be a Jeep, it could be my Triumph Tiger, it could be my 1984 BMW R65, it could be this beautiful 2024 Can-Am Sea to Sky, and anything in between, and I love to ride it. That's just the way it is. See, this guy here, he just pulled out in front of me. Now, was it dangerous? No. Could it have been? I guess it could have been. So there's always risk associated with everything, but I don't want you to let fear control your life. I'm also not telling you to be stupid either. You know, don't go out and be an idiot and kill yourself. But motorcycling has changed my life. So you get idiots like that right there. I'm going over the speed limit, and there's a guy right in front of me, and he's just got to get around me. People are crazy. There's your case in point, right? People are stupid. There you go. Here we are, we're riding along. You know, people are going to do their thing. They're going to drive around, and that's just the way it is. People are going to be in a hurry. People are going to be inattentive. You can't get hurt. Let's get that out of the way. So you're going to have to somehow find a way to squelch that fear to get to this promised land that I'm about to describe, that's going to help you be a better person, because it really has changed my life. So what do I mean that, you know, it has made me a better person? Well, we're going to attack it from a few ways, because I think that you're more than just this physical shell. You're this emotional being. You're this spiritual creature. There's all of these things that go on within us, and there's very varying areas of improvement that we can all grow through. And then there's, not only does it make you a better person, it gives you a more fulfilling life. So let's get on it right now. All right, well, how did it make me a better person? Number one, it made me a more social creature. Yeah, it did. Now, I've always been, you know, the kind of guy who would like to chat and have a conversation and that sort of thing. But I was also the guy that felt very comfortable getting on a bicycle or going out and doing things by myself, spending hours by myself. It did not bother me. It still doesn't bother me. But motorcycling has made me more social. You know, this channel, you watching these videos and leaving comments, you're a part of my life. And so you have made my life more fulfilling. So my life, I'm a changed man because of the social aspect of this. This motorcycle created this video channel. I had no plan of doing all this. This wasn't something, I just started making videos. It was fun. It gave me a creative venture that I love doing. I love creating. And it was a natural thing for me. And so here I am, and I do it every week, and I get to meet people, and I get to love on people. But that's had so many deep, long-lasting impacts on my life. And if you buy a motorcycle, I assure you that you're going to be around people and you're going to love these people. They're going to have something. You're going to have something in common at a much deeper level, because there is a much deeper level going on motorcycles than there is just in a car. I'm just going to tell you that. And anyone who's, you know, been like a hot rod guy knows how special that can be. It can be very special, but motorcycles is at a completely different level. You know, when I get together with spider riders from all walks of life, every age demographic, every financial group, you name it, they don't put on a costume, they don't do this, they don't do that. You know what they do? They get on their spiders and they ride. They ride all over the place. And so when I'm around them, I love talking to them about their adventures, about their life, about their children and their grandchildren. So riding a motorcycle has just opened my world to social situations and has made me a much more social and kind person. This is the guy that just had to get around us. Got him a long way, didn't it? You know, that's that thing. As you get older, you don't let things like that. Things like that don't bother me anymore. I'm like, I'm looking at you. Yeah, you're going to do it. I know. Anyway. All right. So now that we know that it will make you more social, and it also, within that, it's going to make you a more kind and generous person, because just being around people, you're going to see them and you're going to recognize folks from a previous rally. And I'm not talking about if you have a channel. If you're riding a motorcycle and you go to a lot of the same places, you're going to meet riders and you're going to have conversations, you're going to make connections, and you're going to end up buying them lunch and being just a more social creature. It's just a natural outcome of it. And I've yet to meet a motorcycle rider who rode for any extended period of time and went to events that didn't feel this way. So yeah, it's just going to make you a more social and a happier person. All right, well, how else has it made me a better person? Well, on the opposite side of being social, it's also made me appreciate solitude to a much greater level. You know, there's a difference in loneliness and solitude. You know, I used to not understand that. As a younger man, being alone meant you were going to be lonely. Now I've learned, as I've gotten older, sometimes being alone means a moment of quiet, a moment of peace, a moment of introspection. Motorcycling allows you to embrace solitude, and I think that's very, very important in a world full of chaos. You know, Coach Vic and I have crossed this country a couple of times on a Can-Am Spider, and it was wonderful. Although we were together and it was wonderful, there were many, many hours that we rode and we didn't say a word. We just rode, thinking about life, about death, about the craziness that this world throws at us. And it does all the time. The old saying that you never see a motorcycle outside of a psychiatrist's office is probably a little more true than we want to admit. But motorcycling allows you the time and the space to think. You know, when you're in a car, it's a lot different. You've got your radio going, you got this going, you got that going, you got your air conditioner and your windows are up. You don't realize how rapidly the temperature is changing outside. Pretty much every 20 minutes, there's a change of some kind. It could be for better or for worse, right? It can be get from hot to super hot, and then all of a sudden to rain, and then a little bit cooler, and then hot again. You don't experience that in a car. A truck, Your windows are up. I got to get some gas. But you just don't experience it like that. It's completely different. So to get out there and experience that solitude and experience the world in the true environment, the smells, the feel, being alone, letting the voices slow down in your head. The solitude is everything from just calm to downright spiritual. It's quite wonderful. So motorcycling will do that for you. So motorcycling in two areas has definitely changed my life. The joy of being around others and the beauty of solitude. The opposite end of a spectrum. Who thought that a simple machine could do that? All right, well, number 3. So number three is a big one, especially as you age. Now, as you're young, when you're young, you may not feel this as much as you do when you're older, but you'll actually notice it as you get older. It changes the way you respond to things, and what I mean that, I don't mean emotionally respond. It can do that too because you're in a better headspace, but the big thing is I'm talking physical response. Riding a motorcycle, because you are more aware of your surroundings and you are paying a great deal of attention to what's going on around you, because you got a lot more exposed skin in the game, and you're experiencing the environment in a much deeper level. Let's see if we got a space we can get some gas here. We do. All right. I'm going to turn this thing off. We're going to get some gas. All right. Well, you may have been wondering, is Pearson with me? Pearson is with me. So what I'm going to do right here, get her out so I can lift this seat a little easier. Just have her right here with me. Pearson, stay here. Alright, gave her a chance to kind of get out. It's funny, she just does her thing. She stays right here with me. She won't go anywhere or do anything or get into trouble, which is awesome. She has turned out to be my buddy. Alright, but as I was saying, what motorcycling does, because of all of these, all of the stimulus and your awareness level changes. Many things can change your brain mapping to make you feel like a younger person. Motorcycling is one of those things, and there are several things that do it. There's learning to speak another language impacts that part of your brain as well. Learning to play a musical instrument also does it. But things that require concentration and thought, motorcycle riding is one of those that has been proven to help you be younger emotionally. Thanks. See that guy, he was going to pull out in front of me right then. In the morning times, you got a bunch of high school kids. They're going to be out and about. I saw him there again. It was one of those things. I was willing to wait. He just chose to wait for me. It's very nice. We've all done it, right? I could have been in my truck. He would have done the same thing. When the sun is in this location in the sky, kids looking into the sun, they're listening to their music, they're living their life, and they're being kids. And you can't expecting too much is a good way for you to set them up for failure and set yourself up for hurt. So just don't get in a hurry. That's part of it. But your brain, man, your reaction time will get faster. Your thought processes when you respond to questions and when you're having a conversation, you will become a better thinker. You'll become a better problem solver. A lot of things happen from riding a motorcycle, and that certainly can't be played down as just a little trivial thing. But because it happens slowly, we often don't recognize it. I watched a video here earlier this week. It was with Brett Favre. It was an interview. Everybody knows him, a famous quarterback. He has Parkinson's, and he was talking about how Parkinson's affects him at times, and other times it doesn't. And people will see him and they go, "Man, you haven't aged a bit." He goes, "But I know that one day the disease is going to start doing its thing to me, and when it does, I'm going to age a lot real fast." He goes, that can really mess with your mind because you wake up in the morning and it's like, did I age 2% last night? I don't know if I did or I didn't. Well, this is one way of fighting that off just a little bit more. You want to be the guy that if there is anything that you can do to stave off that slow mind, that foggy headspace, then you need to try to do it. Motorcycling is one dadgum good, fun way to do it. So motorcycling has changed my life absolutely big time. What I have to do, I've got a friend of mine's house who's over here where I'm going, and I'll cut out where his road is and all that stuff, but his dogs need to be let out. My son-in-law's taking care of them over the weekend, and I told him I'd take care of it this morning because Mason has to work this morning. So I got Pearson, we hopped on the Spider, and we're heading out to do this. So it's a nice ride over. I could have taken the car, I could have taken the truck, could have taken anything, but I chose to take the Spider. Most relaxing ride of any vehicle I have. You know, people often ask me, Coach, how do you mount your camera up front? Here it is. It's a suction cup. I just mount it right there. And then I just mount my camera to that. But normally I have the camera on it before I put the suction cup on, though. But I removed it so I could use the camera for different functions this morning. Here we go. All right, you ready to go for a ride again? Yes, ma'am. This last one that it's done for me, how motorcycling has just truly changed my life, is the most important one of all. So let's talk about that one. All right, so this last one is obviously to me the most important, and that's why I saved it for last. But before we share that one, I want you to give the video a big old fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. Don't want you to miss any of the great content that we have coming to you. It's just, we've got some wonderful trips coming up. We've got DeLand Spider Rally coming up. We've got Daytona Biketoberfest. Just a ton of things going on. It's going to be great. All right. So the very last one, how has it made me a better person? Well, I'm just going to tell you, it's made me easier to live with in times of trouble. You know, trouble comes in our lives, doesn't it? You know, whether it's a health issue that we have, the death of a family member, an illness, just brokenness that we experience in life because life is hard. Motorcycle riding takes that edge off. Now, I know you're saying, well, Coach, you were talking about mental health a little bit. You alluded to the psychiatrist office and all that stuff. Isn't this the same thing? But no, it's not. There's a difference in your daily walk of happiness and your daily feelings versus radical things that happen in your life where you're struggling. As everybody who's watched this channel for any period of time realizes that I've been through a bunch this year. My daughter passed away in February, and I will tell you, I'm coming out of the darkest season of my life. I've buried a wife, I've buried my parents, I've buried a brother, but nothing, absolutely nothing, has left a hole in me like this one has. You know, I don't discuss this a lot on the channel. I don't like to discuss it generally speaking, but I think that it absolutely is critical to know that when things go really, really south on you and you are really struggling, that you can go out and you can turn the key and you can escape for just a little while, and you can feel that sense of happiness, that sense of peace, even if it's just for 30 minutes or an hour. And if you can cobble together 4 rides a week at 30 minutes, that's 2 hours of your week that you didn't suffer. And if some of those 2 hours spill over into the day, then all of a sudden you might experience 24 hours without suffering in a week. Now, 24 hours in a week may not sound like a lot, but when you're suffering all of the time, 24 hours is a lot. It's a lot. You guys know that I'm a Christian. I'm a Jesus-loving Bible thumper. You guys know that about me. You see it in my life, in my world. I'm not perfect. I'm an idiot, just like everybody else. But there are still times that I struggle a lot. And I just don't want you to think that anyone is immune to it, because we're not. We're not immune to it. So when there are tools available for us to feel better and to be happy, I think we should recognize them and utilize those tools. Motorcycles are a massive part of that. I will tell you, it's not just riding it either. It's turning a wrench on it. It's sitting on them. It's drinking a cup of coffee out in the garage when it's raining and you're just around them. And those times that you're struggling and you feel that, just that wave, that's the way I experience all of the things that I've experienced. My emotions, they come in waves, right? I'll be fine, and then all of a sudden a wave will just come crashing down over the top of me, and I'm struggling, right? I'm just struggling, and it's crazy how that can happen, but it sure can. There we go. But as I was saying, they come in waves, these feelings, this emotional thing that happens to me, and all of a sudden I'm reliving the last 24 hours of Baba's life, and it's very, very difficult to contend with. It really is. I'm not going to lie to you. It's hard. It beats me up pretty bad when it happens. And when I can go outside and I can hop on a motorcycle and I can feel that evaporate, I can feel it lift a little bit, it makes a huge difference. Motorcycling has changed my life. It's made my life so much richer, so much happier, so much more peaceful, and it can do the same for you. Motorcycles can hurt you too. I understand that. I never want to be that guy that doesn't share truth with you, but we're going to have a bonus here in a minute, and I think you're going to find that one interesting too. The motorcycle deeply enriches your life. It changes the way you feel about things. It changes the way you see things. It makes your relationships much, much deeper. My relationship with my daughter was much deeper because of this Can-Am Spyder. As she approached the end of her life, our relationship grew. It changed her life, which means it changed mine. And that's really an amazing thing, that something as simple as a motor and 3 tires can have such a lasting impact on someone. There are many unintended consequences of being a motorcycle rider for me. This YouTube channel, BRP has made me an ambassador. I never saw that coming. It's opened doors for me. So motorcycle riding opens doors. It does. The other thing it does, it can stimulate your desire to be more physically fit, because as you ride, and certainly if you're doing big miles, you're going to need to be more fit. So it's going to change your life, and that's your bonus one. It's going to inspire you to be more physically fit. Physical fitness is a very important thing as we age. Muscle mass, grip strength, core strength, balance, all of those things are perpetuated by riding a motorcycle, whether it be a 2-wheeler or a 3-wheeler, contrary to popular opinion. It's funny to me, I have a lot of naysayers. You'll see them in the comments, and a lot of times if they're profane or really ugly, I just delete them. I don't even want you to see that kind of nonsense. I just don't deal with it. So many people see the 3-wheeled experience as less than what they do, and they figure out they have to put it down, right? But I don't want you to feel less. The wounded warriors who ride, the elderly that ride, and those of us who just ride them because we doggone like them. There's nothing wrong with it. Enjoy the experience of riding your 3-wheeled motorcycle, whether it's a Spyder or a Tri-Glide or the Ravaco or whatever the case may be. Enjoy the experience. It's really an amazing thing. All right. Well, now it's just a matter of just cruising on to the crib. Yeah, I'm showing my deep southern roots there, aren't I? Well, you guys know that life is good. I want to thank you for riding along with me and helping this channel grow and being a part of the little CB3 community that we have here. You are wonderful people, and you make a world of difference in my world. And to that, I humbly and graciously say thank you. All right. Until next time, I want you to do me a favor. Yes, you. Go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams. Eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you are definitely doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day, and I'll see you on the road real soon.